Freedom, it has always been the most powerful and the most dangerous idea. Freedom is not offered, it is not a courtesy, nor a gift handed down from one generation to another. Freedom is a declaration, freedom is a demand, freedom is a fight, and every fight worth winning comes at a cost. Freedom demands sacrifice, not the sacrifice of others, not the sacrifice of comfort measured carefully to avoid real pain, but your sacrifice, your willingness to lose everything, security, certainty, approval, for the one thing that can never be bought or sold, because the world does not yield to wishes, it does not bend to polite requests. It yields only to those who demand it, who suffer for it, who pay the blood price of liberty without guarantee of reward. You must understand this before you take your first step. Freedom will cost you more than you think. It will take more than you believe you have, and yet, if you endure, it will give you everything. The first sacrifice demanded is belief, not the cheap, fragile belief that crumbles at the first sign of resistance, but the iron belief hammered in the furnaces of doubt and opposition. You must believe when no one stands beside you. You must believe when every voice around you mocks your ambition. You must believe when your own reflection doubts your strength. The revolutionaries who changed the world were not made of certainty. They were made of stubborn, relentless belief. Belief that freedom was not just possible, but an inevitable, if they were willing to bleed for it. I believed, even as the fires of empire raged against me. I believed, even when my lies fell silent and my enemies grew louder. Without belief, you are already defeated. Without belief, you will surrender long before the enemy reaches your gates. Freedom demands that you sacrifice the comfort of doubt, that you walk forward when logic tells you to retreat, that you stand when the entire world kneels. Because belief is the first rebellion, and it is the foundation of all that follows. The second sacrifice is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision that something matters more than fear. You will feel fear. The world will ensure it. They will make you fear loss, fear failure, fear loneliness, fear the unknown. They will whisper that survival is enough, that comfort is safety, that obedience is wisdom. And if you listen, even for a moment, they will own you. Courage is the blade you must carry against the suffocating weight of their fear. It is the hand that shoves you forward when your legs tremble. It is the shout that drowns out the quiet voice of surrender. True courage is silent. It is the thousands of tiny choices made when no one is watching. It is the moment you refuse to apologize for existing. It is the moment you look tyranny in the eye and say, no more. Oh, freedom demands that you sacrifice safety for movement, certainty for action, fear for fire, because courage is the second rebellion, and it burns away the lies that keep you chained. The third sacrifice is defiance. Defiance is not rage without purpose. Defiance is the sacred refusal to accept the unacceptable. It is the declaration that injustice will not be tolerated, that oppression will not go unanswered. That silence will not be your legacy. Every empire of change survives on your silence. Every tyrant thrives on your submission. Every system of exploitation relies on your willingness to adapt, to endure, to make yourself smaller. Defiance is the sacred act of saying, I will not shrink, I will not yield, I will not disappear quietly. And defiance, true defiance, is not a one-time act, it is a lifestyle. It is stitched into every decision. It bleeds from every action. You must be willing to defy the expectations placed upon you, to defy the roles they wrote for you before you could even speak, to defy the voices inside and out that tell you to stay silent, stay grateful, stay afraid. Freedom demands that you sacrifice acceptance for resistance, that you abandon the shallow peace, obedience for the raging ocean of rebellion. Because defiance is the third rebellion, and it begins the crumbling of their empires. Freedom is not a gift. It is not something handed down like heirlooms or stolen like treasures. Freedom is built by broken hands that refuse to stop creating, built by cracked voices that refuse to stop speaking, built by scarred feet that refuse to stop walking toward the unknown. Freedom is the highest form of rebellion. It is open defiance of every system designed to chain your mind, your will, your soul. But here is the truth: they will never teach you freedom is not free. Freedom demands a price most are unwilling to pay, because freedom demands sacrifice. You must sacrifice comfort, the soft pillows of mediocrity that lull you to sleep. You must sacrifice acceptance, the hollow applause of crowds who abandon you at the first sign of controversy. You must sacrifice certainty, the illusion that tomorrow will come if you simply wait politely for it. Freedom demands that you sacrifice the illusion of safety, because there is no safety in slavery. There is no peace in obedience to oppression. There is no life in the death of your dreams. You will sacrifice friendships that crumble under the weight of your ambition. You will sacrifice conveniences that once dulled your hunger. You will sacrifice illusions you once mistook for truth. And in the empty space left behind by what you gave up, you will find something greater, yourself. The real you, the untamed you, the you who was born not to fit but to fight, not to bow but to build, not to complete but to conquer. Resilience. The world will not applaud your sacrifices. It will not hand you trophies for choosing hardship over ease. Instead, it will test you. It will hammer your resolve with rejection. It will drown your voice beneath waves of indifference. It will crush your spirit under the slow, grinding weight of everyday despair. And you must endure, not because endurance is romantic, but because endurance is revolutionary. Every day you stand when others kneel, you chip away at the foundations of their power. Every day you rise after being broken. You prove that their chains are not strong enough to hold the human spirit captive. Resilience is not glamorous. It is not pretty. It is not comfortable. It is bloody. It is brutal. It is beautiful. Because resilience is the daily act of choosing to matter even when the world tells you otherwise. It is the slow, stubborn, sacred building of a life that refuses to be extinguished. Freedom demands you become resilient. Vision without vision, sacrifice is suffering without purpose. Vision is the map that turns struggle into strategy. It is the compass that points through the smoke, through the noise, through the wilderness. Vision is not passive. It is not daydreaming. It is war. You must see the world not as it is, but as it could be. You must see the walls falling before a single stone is moved. You must see the chains shattering before the first blow is struck. Vision is what fueled Harriet Tubman through the forests. It is what kept Mandela alive in his prison cell. It is what set Spartacus's blood on fire against the empire that sought to erase him. Vision transforms sacrifice from tragedy into triumph. When you can see beyond the storm, no storm can drown you. When you can see beyond the prison, no prison can hold you. When you can see beyond the fear, no fear can break you. Freedom demands that you become a visionary, not because it will make the struggle easier, but because it will make the struggle worth it. Leadership. True leadership is born from sacrifice. It is not the loudest voice that leads. It's the voice that survives the fire and still speaks truth. It is not the one who demands followers who leads. It is the one who walks so fiercely toward freedom that others cannot help but follow. Leadership is costly. You will be misunderstood. You will be hated. You will be attacked. But you must endure, because leadership is not about authority. It is about responsibility. The responsibility to keep walking when others stop. The responsibility to lift others even as you stagger. The responsibility to light a torch with your own burning heart. so that others may find their way. Freedom demands that you lead, not because you desire power, but because you refuse to be powerless. Transformation, sacrifice is not about losing. It is about becoming the old you, the obedient you, the fearful you, and the small you must die. It must be burned away in the fires of discipline, belief, and vision. From those ashes rises a new being, a new rebel, a new architect of a future not yet imagined. You must be willing to sacrifice your former self, the self that needed permission, the self that waited for perfect timing, the self that clung to comfort like a drowning man clings to a sinking ship. Transformation is violent. It shreds illusions. It dismantles the false safety nets you once believed were necessary for survival. But in the ruins of who you were, you will find who you were always meant to be. A voice that cannot be silenced, a mind that cannot be caged, a spirit that cannot be broken. This is the final sacrifice freedom demands, your old self, in exchange for your true self, the world you seek, the world of open skies and open minds, the world of justice, of dignity, of limitless becoming. It is real, but is not given, is earned, it is seized, and the price is you. You must lay down your fear like a broken weapon. You must lay down your excuses like worn-out armor. You must lay down your chains, even if they are gilded and comfortable and familiar. And you must rise, not once, not in a single act of defiance, but every day, every hour, every breath. You must rise when it hurts. You must rise when you fail. You must rise when the world forgets your name. You must rise when you are all that is left. Because the revolution is not an event. It is a lifestyle. You were born to be dangerous, not reckless. Dangerous. Dangerous to lies, dangerous to silence, dangerous to every system built to shrink your existence into something manageable and profitable. Your sacrifice makes you dangerous. Your refusal makes you unstoppable. Your rising makes you unforgettable. History will not remember the comfortable. It will not remember the compliant. It will not remember the polite bystanders who folded their hands while the world burned around them. History remembers the rebels, the misfits, the ones who sacrificed their small lives for a cause bigger than themselves, the ones who chose fire over comfort, truth over popularity, a freedom over safety. There is a war raging around you even now, a war for your mind, a war for your obedience, a war for your soul. It is fought not just on battlefields, but in every quiet compromise, in every surrendered dream, in every moment of silent despair. You are not a bystander in this war. You are a weapon. You are a storm. You are a revolution waiting to be unleashed. But only if you are willing to sacrifice who you were for who you must become. Only if you are willing to trade temporary comfort for permanent liberation. Only if you are willing to burn down the cages, even when you built them yourself. Freedom is waiting. It stands at that edge of everything you fear. It calls to you in the gnawing pain inside your chest. In the quiet anger you pretend not to feel. In the wild dreams you buried beneath the years of conditioning. It is waiting, but it will not wait. If forever the chains grow tighter, every day you hesitate. The world grows darker, every day you remain silent. The enemy grows stronger, every day you bow your head and hope for mercy. There is no mercy coming. There is no freedom waiting to be handed to you. There is only the choice, sacrifice or submission, rise or rot, live as a rebel or die as a slave. And so the final question echoes across the battlefields of history, and now it stands before you. What will you sacrifice? Your fear, your comfort, your chains, or your future, your dignity, your soul, Because one way or another, you will sacrifice. The only choice you have is what for. If you sacrifice for fear, you will inherit nothing but regret. If you sacrifice for approval, you will inherit only slavery dressed as success. But if you sacrifice for freedom, for truth, for purpose, for the raw, roaring fire of becoming fully alive, you will inherit the only thing worth having: yourself, your spirit, your freedom. Remember this when the night grows cold. Remember this when your hands tremble and your heart grows heavy. Remember this when the world screams for your obedience and offers you comfort as a collar. Freedom requires sacrifice, and freedom is worth it always, forever, until the last chain breaks, until the last wall falls, until the last soul rises. Freedom requires sacrifice, and today you choose to pay the price. If these words awaken something in you, you're not alone. This is just the beginning. Join the rebellion and subscribe to Rebel Chronicles and rise with us